I know by doing this, by facing this fear, it is going to improve me as a human being. It is going to strengthen my will. It is going to make me more of the person that I want to be. So that gave me more incentive to go into it with bravery and face that fear. What is good, my beautiful truth-seeking Earth family? This is your boy Abner, broadcasting at you from Alpha Intelligence Headquarters. Alpha Intelligence is about connecting with our truth, with our heart's intelligence, so that we may find a way to overcome the challenges of the times we live in and live a fulfilling life to the best possible ability we can muster. I'm here to testify as a person who came from living a quiet life of desperation to transforming, with the help of God, my life into something that is worth living. Now, I'd like to share with you a personal story about something I recently just went through that highlights this point that we're trying to get across. So back in June, I had a tooth crack. My upper left wisdom tooth cracked, but because of current conditions in my work, I was unable to really dedicate the time to get to a dentist and get it taken care of. So I pushed it off. Finally, I had a nasty infection come up that was really affecting my well-being. And I know that those gum infections can cause greater damage when they're left unchecked. So I finally had to give in, get to the dentist. And when I got there, my fears were realized was that not only do I need to get that out, but I had decay on other wisdom teeth that were in there. So I ended up needing to get 3 pulled before I can even get the rest of this mess dealt with in my fillings and whatnot. My mind was a mess. I was in panic mode. I even caught myself writing a will, like thinking, I'm not going to wake up from the anesthesia or something like that. My mind just ran me through the gauntlet of all kind of fears, from I'm going to die to I'm going to be in so much pain that I'm not going to be able to perform in life at the level that I need to. And I was just entertaining fear in my mind. Now, some of the tools that I personally used to work with that fear over that month of waiting time, one that really came in handy is something that I got from the teachings of Carlos Castaneda and the teachings of Don Juan, which is the idea of using death as an advisor. Now, that's a pretty far out concept, especially for how most of us are wired in the West. But to give you a brief overview, that school of thought says that there are 4 natural enemies to man: fear, clarity, power, and death. A way to bypass some of the pitfalls that you can run into when dealing with your fear, with the clarity that comes after conquering fear, with the power that comes after gaining clarity, is to go straight to an awareness of death and let that frame the picture of your life in a way that will get you to be able to sober your thinking, because that's what I'm talking about, is a lack of sobriety in my thought. Obviously, I didn't die. But what it did was, by accepting that inevitably this flesh will transform, that it will die, what it does is it gives me a kind of a potency in how I'm approaching life to be able to structure my thoughts in a sober way so that I can actually process my world without being run through these obnoxious, ridiculous fears that the mind is so good at conjuring up. Another more practical tool comes from David Goggins. His book, Can't Hurt Me, is absolutely phenomenal. It's not necessarily easy to listen to because there's a lot of trauma that this man deals with, but what he discovered within himself in dealing with those traumas is absolutely amazing. And where he came from and what he turned his life into is a true inspiration for myself, and I know for many others, because he became a self-published best-selling author, which is amazing. There's an idea that you can hear him talk about in his podcast that he did recently with Andrew Huberman, the neuroscientist, I believe that's his profession, where you have the neuroscientists and Goggins, who is just a beast mode living individual, having a conversation about how doing things in life that you don't want to do actually strengthens your will to live. And that's not just about doing hard things. There are some types of hard things that you can develop a taste for. This is about actually doing things that you don't want to do. So that's another framework that I used to put these thoughts in my head that were running me through the ringer into check. Was that I know by doing this, by facing this fear, it is going to improve me as a human being. It is going to strengthen my will. It is going to make me more of the person that I want to be. So that gave me more incentive to go into it with bravery and face that fear. Question is, how do you begin to develop a toolkit of techniques that will work for you? Because what works for me might not necessarily work for you. So how do you begin to find your own toolkit, to build your own resources so that when you're going through the ringer, you can manage your state